The engine died with a sound that felt final, like the last breath of something that had never learned how to fail quietly. The silence that followed was heavier than the mountains around her. Claire Donovan sat gripping the steering wheel of her luxury car, staring straight ahead as if willpower alone might force the world back into motion. It didn't. She tried the ignition again. Nothing. No sputter, no warning light, no mercy. Just silence. It would have been almost funny if it hadn't felt so cruel. Just hours earlier, she had stood in a glass-walled boardroom overlooking the city, closing a deal worth more money than most people would see in a lifetime. 40 executives had watched her with admiration and fear as she spoke, confident and unstoppable. Claire Donovan, CEO, visionary, powerhouse. Now she was alone on a deserted mountain road, heels sinking into gravel, phone flickering between one bar and none at all. The air was cold, the view breathtaking, and none of it helped her. Of all the days, she thought, of all the places. She stepped out of the car, crossing her arms as if she could hug the frustration out of herself. The mountains stretched endlessly, beautiful and indifferent. Her life felt the same way. Big, impressive, empty. Then she heard it. An engine. Old, uneven, real. A faded pickup truck rolled to a stop behind her car, paint dulled by years of sun and hard work. The door creaked open, and a man stepped out. Tall, broad-shouldered, grease-stained work shirt, worn jeans, boots that had walked miles she'd never know. His face was weathered, but his eyes were gentle, the kind that carried stories and kindness without needing words. He looked at her car, then at her, tilting his head slightly. The gesture was simple, unassuming, and somehow it cracked something open inside her. "Engine trouble?" His voice was calm, grounded, like someone who had solved problems his whole life without drama. Claire nodded, suddenly aware of how alone she had been seconds before. "It won't start. I've tried everything. Mind if I take a look?" She hesitated only a moment. In another life, she might have been cautious, guarded, but something about him felt safe. "Please." He popped the hood with practiced ease, leaning in as if expensive machines and broken things were nothing new to him. Claire watched him work, hands steady, movements confident, and that's when the feeling hit her. That strange pull in her chest, that sense of familiarity she couldn't place. "When's the last time the battery was checked?" She shrugged. "I bought the car 6 months ago." "I don't really." Could be a loose terminal. He walked back to his truck, grabbed a wrench, and returned. Claire noticed the way he moved. Not rushed, not sloppy, just sure. Like a man who knew exactly who he was, even if the world never bothered to ask. "I'm Claire," she said, mostly to fill the silence. He glanced up, offered a small smile. "Ethan." The name landed softly. It didn't trigger anything immediately, but the smile did. Warm, genuine, familiar in a way that made her heart ache. "You live around here?" "About 20 minutes down. I run an auto shop in town." He tightened something, stepped back. "Try it now." Claire slid into the driver's seat and turned the key. The engine roared to life, smooth and obedient, like it had never betrayed her at all. "Oh my God, thank you." Ethan closed the hood, wiping his hands on his jeans. "Just a loose battery terminal. Happens." She reached for her purse. "Let me pay you." He shook his head. "No need. I insist." Took 2 minutes. "I don't take money for tightening a bolt." There was no pride in it. No performance, just a quiet line he wouldn't cross. She pulled out a business card instead, holding it toward him. "Then at least take this." He glanced at it, eyebrows lifting slightly at the title beneath her name. CEO, Donovan Enterprises. "Well," he said, tucking it into his pocket, "I hope the rest of your drive goes smoother." He gave her one last smile and walked back to his truck. Claire stood there watching as he drove away, his taillights disappearing around a bend in the road. And that's when it hit her. Not the money, not the kindness, the recognition, that smile, that voice, the way he looked at her like she was just human. Her breath caught as memories surged back, uninvited and unstoppable. 15 years ago, a college campus, library steps at night, fear tightening her throat as drunken voices closed in. And then, a figure stepping between her and them. Quiet, solid, unshakable. Ethan. Her hands shook as she stood there, the mountains suddenly spinning. He hadn't been a stranger. He had been the first man who ever made her feel safe, seen, worth protecting. And he hadn't recognized her at all. That night, Claire didn't sleep. She lay awake in her penthouse, the city lights glowing uselessly beyond the windows, replaying every second on that road. She found his shop online, found photos, found a little girl with dark curls and his eyes. He had a daughter, a life, a world that existed without her. And still, her heart refused to be quiet. The next morning, she drove back. She told herself it was just to say thank you properly, to bring lunch, to close a loop that had stayed open for 15 years. The shop was small, honest, the kind of place that fixed things instead of replacing them. Ethan looked up when she walked in, surprise flickering across his face before turning into something softer. They sat outside with sandwiches, the conversation easy until it wasn't. "Why are you really here?" he asked gently. "Because I never forgot you." The truth spilled out of her. The night, the years, the search, the loss. And slowly, memory returned to his eyes, shock turning into wonder. "I looked for you," he said. "I had to leave school. My mom got sick. I didn't have your number. You were just Claire." Something broke open between them then. Not heartbreak, healing. But love, they learned, doesn't erase fear. Ethan pulled back, haunted by the gap between their worlds. Claire fought through it, standing firm in what she knew was real. She hadn't built an empire to be alone forever. She hadn't survived all those years, just to walk away now. She chose him, not because he fixed her car, because he fixed something in her she didn't know how to reach. 3 months later, she sat on metal bleachers at a school field, cheering for an 8-year-old who cared more about dandelions than soccer. Ethan's hand was warm in hers. Emma laughed freely, loved fiercely, and slowly made space for Claire in her world. This wasn't the life Claire had planned. It was better. Because sometimes, the road breaks down so your heart can find its way home. And if this story reminded you that love can survive time, fear, and distance, that kindness still matters, that it's never too late to choose what's real, then don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more stories that remind us why the heart never gives up.